Ahoy! Welcome everybody to another edition of the Zlin Film Festival Bubbles. I think it was Diana Ross who was singing all the time, I want bubbles. Well, we offer you bubbles because we have today in the studio some of the most bubbling, some of the most sparkling guests of this year's Zlin Film Festival. We have the director and the main actress of a film called Christmas on Cobbler Street. They're both from Norway, Mikael Hovland and Kaja McCurley. And I think Mikael would be the one who is most qualified to tell us in 5 sentences what the story is about.
5 sentences.
That's all we offer you.
Okay. No, so it's about a young girl who mysteriously arrives in this village up in a snowy landscape, and she is on the run. We don't know from where or from what, and she needs to find shelter. She finds a small hatch in the door. Into an old shoemaker's shop, and we discover that she learns that the shoemaker who lives there has not been outside his shop for many years. So they make a deal. She says, I need a place to stay and I can do errands for you. And gradually we learn that they both have some secrets and mysteries to unravel.
They do. But I was asking people, before I went to see the movie, I was asking someone, like, did you like this Christmas on Cobbler Street? And the answer was, yes, I liked it very much. It perfectly fits into the Nordic tradition of Christmas films. So that's when I understood there is something that could be called the Nordic tradition of Christmas films.
Yes, indeed. There is like every Christmas there's like one sort of family children's movie that come out. So it's a big tradition for that.
And this one fits in?
This one fits perfectly in.
Because it's very Christmassy.
Yeah.
Thanks to the snow and thanks to the opening scene, I think, the opening shot even. There is this beautiful shot of a train ride in the snow. How did you do that? Looks spectacular.
That was actually visual effects. That whole image, we worked on visual effects, to create that atmosphere. Yeah,
that's even before we meet your main character. We arrive in the village together with her. A very Christmassy village in the snow. Where or how was this location set up? I would be really surprised if this was a real village.
It's not a real village, but there are surprisingly only a few places in Norway that can give you snow guarantee. Because you couldn't film it in Oslo, because you could risk not having snow in wintertime. And one of those places is Lillehammer, the Olympic city of '94. But they also have this outdoor museum that's full of old houses. So that was like the perfect spot for us. And then we also build a lot of extra houses, like empty shell houses, to give it more of like a Roald Dahl fairy tale vibe. Yeah.
What we see in the village, one of the particular locations that amazed me, is probably the most beautiful bakery I've ever seen. Can you tell us about it, Kaja, or is this a question for Mikael? You decide. You go.
That was your favorite scene to film?
Yes, it was one of my favorite. It was actually a real bakery, so it's like this museum. Like the entire set is a museum, and we just built on different houses. And the bakery, I think, was a bakery.
Yeah.
And we filled it with so many snacks and goodies. And I got some donuts after the take, and it was very fun.
They were eatable?
Yes, everything there was eatable.
No.
It was real food.
It's real food. We went to all the bakeries in the area and got bread and donuts and gingerbread cookies.
But they look amazing. The story is surprisingly set in a post-war situation. Why did it have to be in this particular era?
Well, one of the mysteries behind one of the characters is kind of loaded with the war theme. But the movie is actually based on a very famous TV series in the 1970s. And where everything is kind of like, it's a big sort of hit in Norway, and like everybody has a very personal relationship to this series. In this series, everything is kind of harmonious. So when we wanted to make the prequel to the series, how all these characters came about, and the series takes place in the early 1950s. So that kind of like landed us in that sort of area.
I should compliment you, Kaya, because you're the only reasonable character in the entire film, I
Yeah.
guess. At least you are a brave little girl, but you're surrounded by many grown-ups, and all of them are a little bit weird or strange or eccentric. no?
Yes.
How weird are they?
Well, the old man, the shoemaker that I went into the house of, he hasn't been outside in like 15 years. He doesn't speak to his daughter. His wife died when his daughter was born.
Yeah.
So he's a very closed up character. And all the other characters, I feel like they're kind of out of touch. You know, they don't really like kids. And you see a couple of kids in the movie, but for the most part, I was the only kid on set, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also made something for the real movie.
You were the only kid on set, but you behaved very mature in your role.
Yes.
That's why they gave you this little teddy bear, so I could realize that you were still a kid. What
Yeah.
was that was the reason why the teddy bear was there?
I think so.
Yeah, but the teddy bear also, as you will learn when you watch the movie, symbolizes something for Stine character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then, being surrounded by all these grown-ups, you realize that all of them have secrets as well, and you're the one maybe who has the most secrets of them all.
Yeah, I think I do. Because almost the entire movie, I was lying. And throughout the movie, I started telling a little bit and a little bit more about the truth. But it wasn't before the entirely end of the movie that I tell the actual full truth. And I don't even tell them. They just have to figure it out,
Mm-mm.
you know? Because I'm very vulnerable, but I try to be brave so I don't get hurt, you know?
And if you talk about the shoemaker that adopts you inside his house, you know who he remembers me. Huh?
No. Who?
You don't know? Not
No.
everybody's telling you. Geppetto, Pinocchio's father.
Oh yeah. That's true. I haven't thought about that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
everybody had the same idea. Like, oh, that's a
Okay.
Norwegian version of Geppetto.
Yeah.
One last question about the technical part is that the movie ends with a very big climax, apotheosis, a scaffolding scene. You have to climb all the way up on the tower of the village, more or less. How was it done technically, and how did it feel to you? Did it feel scary, or was it all?
Well,
Fake.
it was a lot green screen studio and a lot of visual effects, but you still had to climb 10 meters with a wire and a stuntman. So we were a little bit scared how you would handle that.
I nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
And I never doubted it.
Yeah.
Then I have a last question for you.
Mm.
You've been to Zlin. How did you like the city?
It's beautiful. We've had such an amazing time.
You
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's such a closed, warm atmosphere, and it's just bubbling over with enthusiastic people. And we've been signing autographs for the first time in our life, which is like, yeah, it's really cool.
But you know what the empire of Zlin is built upon?
Yes,
Shoes.
yeah.
So that's why I want to ask you, could you please show the shoes that you're wearing to the camera? You can put your feet on the table and tell us a story about the shoes that you're wearing. Why are they here? Why are they with you? Kaya, can you start?
I was in Rome for like 3 weeks ago, and there's this very famous shoe brand called Golden Goose, and they're like shoes, but they come dirty, and they're like $500. So these are kind of dupes, you know? And I saw them and I loved them, so now I wear them.
Okay. Well, every
And-
shoe comes with a story, and they are dirty.
And I only buy one type of shoe. It's this one. When this wears one out, I buy the exact same, and I've been doing that for years.
And they're clean.
And they're clean. Yes,
Fantastic. Thank you for bringing clean and dirty shoes to the studio. Thank you for
welcome.
being here with me, and thank you for bringing such a lovely, lovely film to the festival. I can't wait until it's Christmas so I can see it again under the right circumstances.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
with us. Thank you for watching the Zlin Film Festival Bubbles, and we hope to welcome you soon in another edition of our talk show. Ahoy!